Somewhere on the internet right now, someone is scrolling past a headline promising that one single food will fix their health. Blueberries that erase inflammation, avocados that melt fat overnight, turmeric that cures everything from arthritis to anxiety. The word used to sell almost all of this is the same word every time: superfood. It sounds scientific. It sounds official, like something stamped by a lab. But here's the twist almost nobody mentions. Superfood is not a scientific term at all. It has no formal definition, no regulatory body, no chapter in any nutrition textbook. It is, in plain terms, a marketing word invented to sell groceries. Nutrition scientists don't rank foods on a super scale. What they use is nutrient density, meaning how many vitamins, minerals, fiber, and beneficial plant compounds a food delivers per calorie. So today we're building this list the way a nutrition scientist actually would, using 3 filters. First, nutrient density backed by real human trials, not just Petri dishes or mice. Second, consistency, meaning the benefit shows up across multiple independent studies, not one flashy headline. Third, practicality, because the healthiest food on paper is useless if nobody can actually eat it every week. 10 foods survived all 3 filters. Number 10 on this list is the humble leafy green. Things like kale, spinach, and Swiss chard. They're low in calories but loaded with vitamin K, folate, and dietary nitrates. Those nitrates get converted inside your body into nitric oxide, a molecule that relaxes and widens blood vessels, part of why regular leafy green intake keeps showing up linked to lower blood pressure in clinical research. Large studies following tens of thousands of people over years have connected higher leafy green intake with lower rates of heart disease and slower age-related cognitive decline. The easiest way in is tossing a handful into a smoothie, a curry, or an omelet, where the flavor practically disappears, but the nutrients don't. Number 9 is berries, especially blueberries and blackberries. Their deep color comes from anthocyanins, plant pigments that act as antioxidants, mopping up unstable molecules called free radicals before they damage healthy cells. In randomized controlled trials, the gold standard of human research, regular berry consumption has been linked to improved memory performance and better blood vessel function. Researchers tracking large groups of adults over decades found that people who ate more berries tended to show a slower rate of cognitive aging than those who rarely ate them. Berries are also relatively low in sugar for a fruit and high in fiber, so they don't spike blood sugar the way many sweet snacks do. A cup a day, fresh or frozen, is enough to matter. Number 8 is fatty fish. Think salmon, sardines, and mackerel. These are one of the few natural sources of long-chain omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, compounds your brain and heart tissue are literally built from. Large human trials have linked regular fatty fish consumption with lower rates of heart attack and stroke, and DHA alone makes up a significant share of the fatty acid content in your brain's gray matter. Major heart health organizations recommend at least 2 servings a week based on this evidence. If fish isn't practical, or you eat a plant-based diet, algae-based omega-3 supplements offer a similar EPA and DHA profile, since that's actually where fish get their omega-3s in the first place, from the algae they eat. Number 7 is legumes, lentils, chickpeas, and beans. They're unglamorous, cheap, and remarkably effective. Legumes combine plant protein, resistant starch, and soluble fiber in one package, a combination that slows digestion and blunts the blood sugar spike you'd normally get from a carbohydrate-heavy meal. Multiple large studies, including research from regions where people live measurably longer than average, show legumes as one of the few dietary features nearly all of them share. Research following older adults across several countries found that higher daily legume intake was tied to measurably lower mortality risk. They're also one of the most budget-friendly sources of protein and fiber on this entire list, which matters because the best diet is the one you can actually afford to keep eating. Number 6 is nuts, particularly walnuts and almonds. Despite being calorie-dense, decades of research keep landing on the same surprising conclusion. Regular nut eaters don't gain more weight than non-nut eaters, and often weigh less. The likely explanation is that the fiber, protein, and fat combination in nuts is extremely satiating, so people naturally eat less elsewhere, and a portion of the fat in nuts isn't even fully absorbed by the body. One of the largest randomized nutrition trials ever conducted found that a diet enriched with nuts significantly reduced cardiovascular events compared to a low-fat control diet. Walnuts specifically contain plant-based omega-3s. A small daily handful, not a whole bag, is where the evidence actually points. Number 5 is extra virgin olive oil. It's the fat at the center of the Mediterranean diet, arguably the most well-studied dietary pattern in nutrition science. Olive oil is rich in monounsaturated fat and polyphenols, plant compounds with measurable antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects in human trials. That same landmark trial found that a Mediterranean diet supplemented with extra virgin olive oil reduced major cardiovascular events by a meaningful margin over years of follow-up. The words extra virgin actually matter here, since it means the oil is less processed and retains more of those polyphenols than refined versions. Using it as your primary cooking and salad fat in place of butter or heavily processed oils is the practical takeaway. Number 4 is fermented food, yogurt, kefir, kimchi, and sauerkraut. These foods introduce live beneficial bacteria into your gut, and a growing stack of human research links a healthier gut microbiome to better immune function, reduced inflammation, and even improved mood, since much of the body's serotonin activity is connected to signals from the gut. One well-known university study found that people who ate a diet high in fermented foods over 10 weeks showed increased microbial diversity and reduced inflammation markers, an effect not seen with high-fiber foods alone in that same study. The catch is checking labels, since some store-bought yogurts are closer to dessert than yogurt. Look for live active cultures and minimal added sugar. Number 3 might surprise you: eggs. For decades, eggs were treated as a heart health villain because of their cholesterol content. More recent, larger, and better designed studies have walked that back considerably, since dietary cholesterol has a much smaller effect on blood cholesterol for most people than saturated fat does. What eggs actually deliver is complete protein, all 9 essential amino acids, plus choline, a nutrient critical for brain and liver function that most people fall short on. Reviews pooling many prospective studies have found no significant association between moderate egg intake and heart disease risk in the general population. For most healthy adults, an egg a day fits comfortably within an evidence-based diet. Number 2 is garlic. When you crush or chop a clove, an enzyme reaction produces allicin, a sulfur compound responsible for garlic smell and much of its biological activity. Randomized trials have found that regular garlic intake can produce small but measurable reductions in blood pressure and LDL cholesterol, and other research links it to enhanced immune cell activity. The effect per clove is modest. This isn't a replacement for medication, but it's a rare case of a strong-tasting kitchen staple actually delivering on part of its old folk reputation. Crushing garlic and letting it sit for 10 minutes before cooking allows more allicin to form, before heat breaks it down. And number one, the food with arguably the broadest, most consistent evidence base of anything on this list: whole grains, specifically oats. Oats contain a soluble fiber called beta-glucan, which forms a gel in your digestive tract that slows sugar absorption and physically binds to cholesterol, helping remove it from the body. This is one of the few claims backed by such strong evidence that health agencies allow oat products to carry an official heart health claim on their packaging. Multiple reviews of the research confirm consistent reductions in LDL cholesterol with regular oat consumption. Practical, cheap, shelf-stable, and backed by decades of consistent human trials, oats earn the top spot not because they're exciting, but because the evidence simply doesn't waver. Notice what didn't make this list. No exotic powder shipped from the other side of the world. No supplement with a magic number on the label. Every food here is something you can buy at a regular grocery store. And that's the point. No single food, however nutrient-dense, can outrun a poor overall diet, chronic stress, inactivity, or bad sleep. The research doesn't point to miracle foods. It points to patterns, foods eaten consistently, together, over years, not days. The real secret nutrition science keeps confirming again and again isn't hiding in some rare berry from a remote mountain. It's sitting in your regular grocery store waiting for you to actually buy it, again and again, for years.